day one of hopefully a 40-day fast. Well, altered fast. So, day 4 of the hopefully 40-day fast. Well, altered fast, I guess you could say. I've gotten a lot of clarity on some scripture I'm going through chronologically. There's a way to do it in the Bible app, and I'm seeing correlations of Joseph to Christ, and then Benjamin and Simeon kind of later on, because they're of the 12. A correlation for afterwards, how the disciples were replaced. Anyways, that was just that kind of stuck out to me. Where it talks about in Acts that there's Joseph called Barsabbas. I guess his name's Barsabbas, and then there was somebody else. Anyways, that stuck out to me quite a bit. And then Joseph setting the table for his brothers, that stuck out quite a bit. And I'm just seeing a lot of correlations, and I'm continuing. And then the Daniel, I was thinking about Daniel's fast yesterday and the vegetable fast. And it's not that meat is inherently wrong, but if you think about it, the meat could have been tainted, so to speak. It could have even been used for sacrificial offerings or just bloody. So instead of doing any of that for false idols sacrificially, then he just chose to eat the vegetables. So that was out of nowhere. It was just like, I don't know, just kind of came to me. So that was cool. So I just thought I'd share that. So 36 days left of this altered fast. That's what I'm calling it right now. I really did wonder, because before I started this, I felt inclined, I'm grabbing my stomach, I felt inclined to do this fast. And whenever I felt inclined to do it, then it was more so like a sudden guilt, or maybe not guilt, but a conviction. And the conviction was really starting to weigh on me. And so I told my wife I was going to do it. And I guess day 3, yesterday, I got my days mixed up the other day whenever I made the recording. But anyways, technically, like if you go 24 hours, I would say that I was convicted, and I was like, well, should I even eat anything? Should I have any yogurt? Because that's the thing that kind of stuck out to me. And yogurt and what else? Yogurt, broth, and a little bit of honey. I'm being completely honest with you guys. I ain't paying attention apparently to me holding the phone. But anyways, and the honey was more so to get the medicine down, because I'm still taking a little bit of medicine, and get the nasty taste out. That might be a little selfish, but that's what's sticking out. And I'm still taking vitamins and magnesium because I don't want to have any muscle cramps. And so, but the thing that's really neat is yesterday she was telling me to take out the trash, and after I took out the trash, I was like feeling so bad, like making myself feel bad. And I was like, I don't know if it's okay to eat yogurt. And then I walk in, no joke, I walk in, and when I walk in the house, I'm going to wash my hands, and I look on the counter, and there's a yogurt cup out there, and I'm like, that's weird. And I said, hey, did you mean to set that out there? And she said, no, I was cleaning out the fridge, and whenever I was cleaning out the fridge, it fell and broke the top open. And I was like, okay. And so I felt peace about eating it. So I had that. But today I'm actually doing a water and electrolyte fast. And so that's what I'm doing today. At first I was like so willing to grab the cup of coffee. It was just out of instinct, because I always have a instant coffee with my, I throw a couple scoops of protein in every day. And so I was thinking about abstaining from that. So I did. And then instinctively my stomach started growling, and I started reaching for my coffee on the way to work. I didn't have it, and then I started almost going into a panic. And it's like in 2 Timothy, we have not been given the spirit of fear, yet I was fearful in that moment. Maybe not exactly fearful, but I was panicking. And I was like, I can't do that. And then I was almost going to go to the store, and then I was like, no, I can fight this. This is just 24 hours. And it's just teaching you more self-discipline. And that's the thing that I'm learning from it. And I don't know if I'm ever going to post this. This is more so for future generations or something for me to share with later on. I mean, if I feel led to post it, then I will. But it feels like a lot of me just rambling. But something neat that I was doing. So this morning, I'm doing the chronological order of the Bible still, and I'm in Exodus. So I've gotten through Genesis, Job, and now I'm in Exodus. And Exodus stuck out differently, because it was like Moses' mother knew how special he was. And so I saw the similarities with Hannah. So Moses and Hannah, or not Moses and Hannah, Hannah and Moses' mother both had the ability to have a big impact in their son's life at an early age, and then they had to give them up for leadership roles, basically. And I know that's tough, but it's showing you even the smallest amount of time you have with a child, you can impact them. You know, like Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way he shall go, and he shall not depart. It's not guaranteeing that he's not going to depart, but you're training them up in the ways so that they won't depart, and praying for them. And I'm sure that they were praying for their sons every day. But my point in sharing that was it was so cool, and it's like that's what I've seen a lot more of lately in this. It hasn't been as big, so to speak, in the things that I normally see, but it's been more of just a slow nudge every time I'm reading. And you know, you should always be mindful also, if you're going to do a fast, to still honor your employer. My buddy Mike told me that, and I thought that was interesting too. That's why I'm making sure I'm still got plenty of electrolytes, and then I've even been drinking a protein shake most days, and so enough, or a little bit of yogurt or broth. So I mean, this is definitely an altered fast. This is not abstaining completely from food, only water for the whole 40-day duration. If I make it to 40 days, that's up to me and up to God, and I'll have to see him through it. So anyways, that's all I have for now. So partially through Exodus, and this is day, I think, 5 of the fast. I had 35 days left of the altered fast. What's sticking out to me was the quail, and I'm sharing that just because it's kind of silly. But I never looked into the quail. I haven't eaten quail before, and apparently it tastes like either chicken or duck or something like that. But I was so hungry, I was reading more into it, and I kind of had another like insight on scripture whenever he sent quail and manna. So that stuck out more, I guess, but definitely interesting. So 6 days left on the, or not 6 days left, my bad. 6 days into the altered fast, and I talked about the quail and how they were sticking out to me. So this morning, I'm sitting there waking up, and I'm looking out in the kitchen, and I'm looking out at my backyard, and my dog is going crazy. And normally, if she goes crazy like that, it's like a certain type of bark. It means that either a neighbor's cow got loose or there's a snake out in the yard. And so when she was going crazy like that, I knew something was up. So I yelled at my wife and told her, "Hey, grab my phone," because I couldn't believe what was in the front or backyard. So there were 2 birds on the ground. They were kind of bigger, and I was sitting there staring at them, and I saw their color pattern, and I was like, "That looks familiar." And I looked again, and by the time she gave me my phone, I barely got like a 1-second video of it, but it was quail. There were 2 quail in the backyard, and I just thought that was kind of cool because quail has been what I've been researching a little more lately, just because of, well, obvious this is fast, but I was wanting to have a better interpretation of what they were actually eating, what the Israelites were eating whenever during the Exodus. So that was really cool. So I just thought I would share that on day 6. And also, one more thing, there was, I did have some bone broth last night, and I instinctively put seasoning in it because that's just what I do if I drink bone broth. But I dumped it out because I felt convicted about it, and I was like, I don't want to stray too far from this fast because adding little things, it might as well not even be a fast. So I dumped it out and poured me a new glass of it and had that. But that's the update so far for day 6. So day 10. This morning I was driving and I was at a stop sign by a big highway, and whenever I was there, about 20 seconds after I've been there, there's a red Challenger that comes up on the opposite side of me. So I've got the right of way, but I'm waiting for it to be clear. I look left, I look right, there's a car coming, so I'll wait, and I wait. I'm there about a minute or so, and then I finally see that it's clear, that I have the right of way, and then I'm beginning to check real quick and turn, and as I'm turning, there's a Buick Enclave, a white one, just coming, and I'm like coming through right here, and it almost T-boned me, but I was saved from that. My heart was sitting there beating, and it really did. It shocked me. And then I didn't get hit. I stopped right in the middle of the road. Luckily, no one was coming to the left. And so whenever I stopped, slammed on my brakes, it just flew right past me. And I'm going to be honest with you. I was angry at the person, and the flesh in me was wanting to yell at that person, curse at that person, just scream. But I didn't. I don't know why, because I don't know what. It had to have been God, because I didn't speed up. First I did for a split second, and I was like, no, I'm not going to go catch them. I just stuck my hand out and said, Lord, if this person was speeding and they are a threat to others, just humble them and let them be caught if they're violating the law and a danger to others. Because at that point, I quit being selfish, and I was more concerned about the others. And so I was praying, hoping that they wouldn't hit anyone else. Well, instead of me speeding and rearing up on them and flicking my lights 100 times, I did it once, honest, because I was mad. But I stayed like 100 yards away from them, and I was still going the speed limit. So a trooper is coming this way, and then I just see, because I'm over the hill, and then I see the trooper, and there's a Ford Explorer trooper, and they turn around and they get him, and it was either a trooper, it could have been a cop without any name on it. But anyways, and so whenever it was turning around, it had plenty of daylight to turn around and not get me, who it probably would have, because it would have looked like I was instigating it when they were the one who was in the wrong at the beginning. But the patience in me was able to, and self-control, was able to pray instead, kind of like the fruits of the Spirit. But the thing that I was going to say is, that's not karma. It's not just, oh, karma's going to get them. That was God intervening on my behalf. And so I didn't get T-boned, but let's look at what else could have happened. I could have gotten the ticket. I could have been in trouble. I could have actually looked like the instigator for the person speeding, instead riding their bumper, but I didn't. So thank God. And I'm just so thankful for that, the opportunity that I was given peace during a big trial that morning. Alright, so day 15 of the Altered Fast, 25 days left, and it's super hot. I definitely probably wouldn't have been able to do this without some type of something like electrolytes and protein shakes, but my vehicle says it is 112 right now, so it's been hot all day. But what I've been thinking about is John the Baptist and how he survived off the locusts and honey. I'm sure I've said that before in one of these videos, but that was what was popping up. And then there was a verse. I sent it to one of my neighbors. It's the one where Paul's talking about, I can do with little or plenty, but that's what it is, Philippians 4:12. So that was the verse that I sent out in a couple group messages, and it's just been weighing on me. So August 20th, 2025, day 17 of Altered Fast. And really, I mean, I really don't think it's much of a fast at this point, because I've had to have protein shakes the last couple of days, and I haven't done a pure water fast since, I don't know, probably last week. I mean, I'm trying to fast in between, but I'm also trying to stay together in this heat. Like, it's pretty hot. I mean, it's been almost 100 degrees, and it's hotter on the blacktop, than it is anywhere else, pretty much, or inside vehicles it's hotter too. But so one thing that is sticking out to me, because I'm still doing the chronological order for the Bible, I'm in Numbers 25 right now, and it's talking about Phineas and his righteous anger. Sorry, I never look at the camera. I'm just not paying attention to you. Trying to pick up trash or whatever. But so the righteous anger that Phineas, grandson or son of Eleazar, grandson of Aaron the priest, so a Levite. It's talking about the Levites. Whenever it's talking about the Levites, then thing that sticks out to me is the fact that his name's Phineas. He's a Levite. And then later in 1 Samuel, there's Phineas, Eli's son. And Phineas had the righteous anger. Phineas of Eleazar had the righteous anger of somebody who wanted to do right and didn't want the worship of Baal and the prostitutes and the things of that nature in his temple, in his I would say in his land or country. He didn't want that, so he was trying to be righteous and do the right thing. And then you have, on the polar opposite end, a guy named Phineas, after probably his great uncle or grandpa or someone like that, son of Eli, who is doing all the wrong things and is in the priesthood as well, and he's doing everything wrong, because you look at that example of that Phineas, of his brother Hophni, so Hophni and Phinehas, they do the exact opposite, and they're taking the sacrificial meat. They're having people around the temple that shouldn't be around the temple. And it's so ironic that the names, there's not really a correlation well, they're related and they have the same name, and he could have been even named after him. He could be even the namesake, and yet he denied that. And so I think that is just so almost poetic. I don't know how to put it. It's just so neat to see that correlation of sorts. A guy that you're named after for being a righteous man, and then you choose to not be a righteous man, and the position that he has is partially because of what he did, and yet you just sit there and you just make it your own abuse of power. So that stuck out to me today. That's in Numbers 25 is where I'm at, but 1 Samuel in the first couple of chapters is what stuck out to me for the connection between the two. So day 18 of the fast. Today I plan on doing a pure water fast, no protein shakes or anything like that. A little bit of electrolytes, but I can tell you I'm feeling it right now. One thing that really stuck out to me was this morning I realized I needed to go to the bank and cash a check, and then I was like, all I'd have to do with cashing that check is get some of the money from it and just go and get a snack from the trying to think, the food truck. There's a food truck over by the bank, and actually both banks. There's a food truck by either bank that I'd go to, and so it's tempting. I'm not doing it. I rebuked the thought and just immediately went on about my day. But that little bitty thought, it was just a moment of weakness, you know. I just wonder during this 40-day, even though it's not even a true fast, altered fast, if it, like what went through everybody's mind or people's mind when they do a 40-day fast. So that stuck out. So day 19, I'm in Deuteronomy right now. It's sticking out to me differently at the start of it because they're talking about the Moabites and different clans, and I'm like, I know that God chose the Israel, but it's like he didn't get rid of the Moabites at that moment. He didn't tell them to destroy them, Lot's ancestors, but it was just the Moabites and then the Edomites, which is like Esau. That stuck out to me, that they were still there, and that was just, I don't know, I was looking at it through a different lens than I normally would. I was looking at the names and the genealogy of it instead of just looking at, oh, this is just some random name. So I was looking at it a little more in depth, I guess. But day 19, and I'm probably going to drink more protein shakes because yesterday was pretty tough. 18 was, because the tough thing about it was I walked 7 miles for work, and so it was tough. It was 88, 85 degrees, somewhere around there all day, so it wasn't horrible, but it was just a lot. And so definitely still need to honor my employer and still need to make sure I have enough nutrients having a physical job. So I'm still going to try to do this. Tomorrow's day 20. I'm excited about being halfway there. So day 20, halfway there, you know. A lot of things that have stuck out to me. Yesterday I was really hungry because there's a barbecue place like a mile from where I work, and I could smell it literally like from a mile away. Anyways, it's just down the road. I could smell it though. And then I'm in Deuteronomy right now. Looking forward to that and getting through that, and then getting to Joshua, because I always love listening to Joshua. And it's a nice day today. I'm just reflecting on some of the things that have happened lately. I've definitely been seeing things a little differently. And one thing about my fasting that I've done is I haven't went out of my way to start like new TV shows or anything like that. I've been more mindful, and stewardship's a big thing that I've been a part of lately. Like, I've been leaning on seeking more financial help and financial scriptures, like getting your house in order. And also, today's verse of the day, let me read it. Today's verse of the day is Romans 12:12. Rejoice in our confident hope, be patient in trouble, and keep on praying. So I thought that was cool. Prayer is such a big, vital part of your daily walk. And sometimes people underestimate the power of prayer. There was a time that I had wrote down a bunch of people's names on a list to pray for, and one of them was one of my neighbors, and I didn't have my neighbor's name. I didn't know the neighbor like a couple houses over from me, and so I just wrote down like a question mark. I was like, Lord, tell me that person's name. And a cool thing that happened is the very next day I look in my backyard, and in my dog pen there's a dog. There's a husky that has gotten inside the fence. And I sent a message in a group chat. I said, hey, does anyone know whose dog this is? And one of my in-laws said, yeah, that's I think that's so-and-so's dog. He lives down the road. And so I wrote his name down. That's just random, but that didn't happen just now, but it happened in a time of prayer. And so that I always reflect on that. Like, God even gave me that little nudge. And then I wrote the person's name down so that I could pray for them. We really can't see in this realm how much of an impact prayer truly has. But it does, so always just keep on praying. Even if you don't think it's helping, I know it is. You just got to be faithful with it. But that's what stuck out to me lately. So, 17 days left. So day, I think, 23. I would say I've lost 20. Let's see. I've lost not 20. That was old scales. I've lost 10 pounds in total so far that I didn't even know I needed to lose. I'm looking more like my high school shape. But I will say that last night I had a headache, and I put a little bit of honey in some yogurt, and I probably had 4 or 5 cups of yogurt during this whole process. And started drinking those Ensures every night. I got done with Deuteronomy yesterday, and I'm almost done with Joshua on the chronological order of the Bible. And there are a few different things that stuck out, like in Deuteronomy it was talking about what was it? I think it was in chapter 7 or 8 or something like that. Might not have been in that, but it was talking about fornication and stuff like that, and it made me think of the passage where Jesus is talking about the woman caught in the act of adultery, and how he's riding, in the sand, I believe. That's what it made me think of. And it made me think of how it never tells in that story where the guy is and all that. It talks about the woman that they're setting up, but it doesn't say anything about the guy I'm wondering if he was paid off. I'm not going to just say he definitely was, because I don't know, I wasn't there. And it doesn't say that. But you got to think, they're only giving you one part of the story. The Pharisees loved to try to set him up for failure, and they were so religious, they weren't seeking a relationship. So just found that very interesting. But I think that's it. Oh, also on the popcorn thing, I had a dream where about 2 or 3 nights ago, I've actually had a couple dreams about food, about stuff that I don't eat, like pizza or popcorn. And I hate popcorn because it always gets stuck in your teeth. So with popcorn, when it's getting stuck in your teeth, it's never fun getting it stuck in your teeth. I was sitting there thinking about how in my dream I spit it out, and how because I realized I was fasting. Even in my dream I knew that, and I was like, if we can be that conscious of our dreams by me spitting that out and continuing my fast even in my dream, who's not to say that we can't rebuke things in our dream when we're being spiritually attacked? So that stuck out. So day 27, I've lost 14.6 pounds. Today is a lot tougher, like a lot tougher. I've gotten kind of hangry lately, and so I had to apologize to my wife because I was getting frustrated just because I was hungry. I've been hungry for a while now. I had a cup of yogurt last night, I think 1 cup of bone broth, and a protein shake that morning, and then one of those little Ensure things. But it's getting tougher, and you got to rely more and more on prayer during times like this. But yesterday I did find something pretty cool that I was wanting to share, and it's kind of it's a jumbled mess. It's not in my head, but it kind of is on paper. But one thing that stuck out to me was I was listening to a preacher, and he was talking about Revelation 20 verse 6, and it talks about it says the dead, talking about the dead will rise. And then what oddly enough happened was that I started thinking of Lazarus and the story of Lazarus, and the story of Lazarus that's in John 11, I believe. And it's talking about raising Lazarus from the dead. And Lazarus kind of symbolically represents us being raised from the dead. And Jesus never denies that Lazarus is his friend whenever they say, let's see which verse it is. It says, Lord, your dear friend Lazarus is very sick. But Jesus heard about it and said, Lazarus' sickness will not end in death. No, it happened for the glory of God, so the Son of God will receive glory from this. And that makes me think a lot of how we're all Lazarus at some point. We're all dead in our sins until we become renewed and give our life to Christ. So it's one of those things that has a deeper meaning. And that's what a lot of the stuff that I've seen. A lot of the things that I've seen are more scriptural connections. Like, it goes way deeper than that. And I wrote a lot more than that. But the gist of it that's what it makes me think of. It makes me think of just Lazarus and how we're all going to rise up one day during Revelation and will be with him again. And so it's kind of neat to think of how those two stories have some similarities. And this has been a very interesting journey, and I applaud anyone that goes 40 days with the just water fast. I mean, that takes a lot. And I did have some electrolytes today too. But that was one of the things I just wanted to share. I haven't been doing an update every day, but I have had a ton of biblical connections, new to old, and just little references that I've seen here and there that really stick out to me. I just haven't logged every single one of these. And also, I've noticed my face has gotten a lot thinner. I've lost quite a bit of fat I didn't even know I had to lose. And I'm saying that too because I'm doing this for a spiritual purpose. I'm not doing this for vain reasons. And I have to be careful to not become prideful and to reject the pridefulness of why I'm doing this, because I am getting in better shape, but I also have lost a lot of muscle mass. I've tried maintaining what I have by doing, like 5 to 10 pull-ups minimum a day, and doing at least 30 kettlebell swings a day. Little things like that help maintain what I have, and I walk a ton every day. But I'm still gonna lose some more mass, but that's okay, because the weaker we become, the more we have to discipline ourselves and strengthen ourselves. It is day 30. Let me think. Day 30. Yesterday was 29, and I've had a lot of things just kind of come to me lately. So I did have a spiritual attack at some point. I think it was a couple days ago, and I had a friend that sent me 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 17, 18, and I'll just read it. But the Lord stood with me and strengthened me, so that I might fully preach the word, and all the Gentiles might hear it. So I was rescued from the mouth, or from the lion's mouth. The Lord will rescue me from every evil work, and will bring me safely into his kingdom, into his heavenly kingdom. To him be the glory forever and ever. Amen. And that really helped quite a bit. And I think that it's just important to remember Jesus was tempted in the wilderness when he was fasting. And then I had a buddy of mine, I reached out to him, and he basically said, if the devil left you alone, you'd be doing something wrong. So I thought that was neat. And I honestly did think of Matthew, and it was when Satan said, turn these stones into bread, whenever he was talking to Jesus in the wilderness. And I can't imagine those kind of temptations, because mine are so minute and compared to that. And everybody goes through different things, but I do know that this has been very eye-opening, and I did rebuke everything that from that day, and so or from that attack. And I mean, I think that we need to rebuke stuff more often. We just don't think about it. So, like, not every thought that you have should just sit there. You can rebuke it. It's fine. I mean,
That might sound silly to some people, but I think it's as you grow, you kind of learn more of those type of things to do. And I've also just noticed a lot of things that people openly invite. Like, for example, when you're listening to secular music, how many times is it really just tearing you down? It's like, oh yeah, I remember, going through this and going through that, and it's just ripping up an old wound a lot of the time. You hear people talking or singing in their songs, and it's more, especially when you're fasting and things, you just see things differently. And so you see things differently, you hear things differently. And so I'm on day 30, and I've got 10 days left. But the amount of things that I've learned, I have also decided that I'm going to try to eat even cleaner the next time I begin eating, like little things. I mean, your body is a temple, And I think I finished Judges today and started in First Samuel, and then I actually listened to a sermon on First Samuel, and it was eye opening too. It was talking about Eli and his sons, but I've spoken on that before. But I just think that's neat, and just kind of a recap from day 1 to 30. At first, I thought that I shouldn't even eat any yogurt. I mean, I felt like I was led to. I could if I needed to, and then I was guilting myself about it. And I had a friend of mine tell me, and I didn't tell everybody, but people started figuring it out after a while. I had a friend of mine reach out and say, hey, just be sure to honor your employer. And sure enough, by the end of the day, end of that day, after he had texted that to me and I kind of chewed on it all day, then there actually was a sermon on honoring your employer. And he was talking about how it's kind of linear in some ways, or people look at it as linear, but how you should honor your employer because it's one of your biggest ministries. And I don't know, I recorded a little snippet of it, and I might add that in there or stitch it in there or something. But I wanted to add that because he was definitely right on that. And there are so many times that somebody will tell me something or I'll be hearing something. And by hearing, I also mean you have to know the scripture in order for something to stick out to you. And so the more you know scripture, the more you're going to learn when that wisdom is needed, and it will just kind of flow naturally. And that's been happening a lot where I'll have like a verse or something hit me, and I'll be reading it and thinking about it all day, and then there might be a sermon on it, or somebody might send me that passage. And I think that happens to all of us. We just need to look out for it. I did have somebody in Walmart the other day that I graduated with who almost didn't recognize me, and apparently he said I looked overweight the last time he saw me. I don't know, but anyways, he could tell a difference in me, and it was neat because I was wearing a Bible verse shirt with it too, so I was like, well, I hope that actually left more of an impact on him too. But I was just thought I would catch you guys up on that because that's what's been happening as of lately. Day 31. Last night I had a dream, and in that dream, then it's going to sound silly, but in that dream, then I had a dream that I was being chased by something, and in that moment, then I woke up and I posted it on some kind of social media platform, and then I had somebody reached out and sent it to a family member, and that family member confronted me with partial screenshots and just bits and pieces of information and saying, hey, why are you doing this? Why are you talking about this? What's up? And this is somebody close to me, not just some random family member. Like, this is a close family member. And it was pretty interesting because inside the dream, then I looked at that person, sat them down, and said, I just want you to realize what's going on. I said, this has been taken out of context. The person that sent this to you didn't send you the full story. And I said, this is being sent from a spirit of confusion. And they just stopped and looked at me peacefully and accepted it. Instead of, apparently there was somebody running around chasing me in the dream. I don't know why that was so important that I had to post it, because I don't post stuff like that. But anyways, it was silly. But even inside the dream, the reason I'm sharing that is even inside the dream, like I was talking about rebuking a couple of days ago, I was able to rebuke and stop and listen and think about and see what was happening inside of it, to sit down and share with them. And a verse that comes to mind is 1 Corinthians 14, verse 33, and I'm not going to read the entire chapter, but the verse, it says, since God is not a God of disorder, but of peace, or God is not the author of confusion, depending on your translation. So I just wanted to share that. And then I did have a moment today, a couple different moments, where I was frustrated. And in the frustration, I was just wanting to, it sounds silly, but drink another Ensure, just to, I don't know, throw a pity party or whatever. I didn't, but I had one. But it made me think, if I wasn't fasting, what would I have done? What would I have done differently? Would I have just eaten my troubles away? Who knows? But it's teaching me more and more and more not self-reliance, but reliance on God. And I just wanted to share that. And I think that's it. So, quick update. 7 days left. Excited about that. Sad part is it's my wife's birthday, so I'm not going to eat any cake or steak or anything like that with her today. But I started thinking about how much weight I've lost. And if you look at it from the flip side, actors like Christian Bale, whenever he did the fighter role, he was 173 and then he got down to 110. But he did it for all the wrong reasons. Well, I mean, he did it because that's his method of acting. But what I'm saying is he did it because he was contractually obligated to fulfill a role that he had. And we've got to be careful on what reasons we're willing to sacrifice ourselves for our own health. And that stuck out to me a lot this morning. I've lost a lot of weight, and it feels almost like an unhealthy amount. Close to it, it's getting there, but some of it was needed, and I think we could all afford to shed a few pounds. And what I mean by that is not by the actual way you think, but the way of cutting away the things of old, so that you can grow and a healthy growth of something new by fasting away the things of old that are weighing you down, your chains. So whatever that might be, if that's an addiction to too much food, then so be it. Or if that's the addiction, because when you're fasting, you're also not watching, you try not to watch as much or indulge as much in the world with TV shows and things that are distracting you. If you watch 2 hours of TV or an hour of TV a night, or a football game, but then don't have time to read the Bible. Whatever it is, whatever your guilty pleasure is, we all have one. But that stuck out quite a bit to me. So it is day 34 of the 40-day fast. And I'm just going to share a couple things. So whenever I was first starting out, then I wasn't really on much of anything for the fast and until about, I think, day 3 or so. And then whenever I felt like I needed to, I'd have one of these, which has 9 grams of protein, and it's 220 calories. And after about a week or two, then I started to drink these every night. And then about a week ago, then I switched to a different one that has 100 more calories and about 5 or 6 more grams of protein. And so it's got a little bit more stuff in it. And then I have also made sure to drink plenty of water. I'll have something like this, which is 30 ounces. And then after that, I'll fill this up and then put half an electrolyte packet in it and then drink it, and then half an electrolyte packet in it again and drink it. So I'd have at least 90 ounces of water minimum, unless I'm doing and even if I'm doing a water only fast, then that I would still have at least 90 ounces of water. And so I just wanted to be completely honest with that. And I did have some bone broth at night. And eventually it got to where I needed the yogurt after like 3 weeks or so. I think I needed to start 3 or 4. Then I think I started eating it every night. And I took down some notes. So over the past 4 weeks, then I have walked 140 miles. So when you have an active lifestyle, then it's important that you're still taking care of yourself. But I'm trying to fast in the way that I've prayed about. And one thing that's been sticking out to me is since day 30, then I have definitely been feeling a lot more hungry. Like I'm telling you, like it was okay at first and I fasted, and I do want to say that in preparation for this, I didn't realize I was being prepared for this, but a couple months ago I had started intermittent fasting, and I've been fasting once a week for quite some time, just as a natural habit. I don't even like talking about it, but I think it's kind of pertinent to have all the information that I didn't just start this all of a sudden in something that I've never been used to. But a verse that sticks out to me, and it's stuck out to me for the last couple days, is 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. No temptation has come upon you except what is common to humanity. But God is faithful. He will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able. But with the temptation, He will also provide the way out so that you may be able to bear it. I think that that's just so important. No matter what our temptation is, we need to look for how He's giving us a way out and where He's showing us and leading us, much like Abraham and Isaac. But that story just kind of stuck out to me all of a sudden. But no, anyways, I just wanted to share all that. And I wanted to just be open and honest, and I've probably lost, I would say, I'm just guessing, about 14 or 15 pounds by now. And let me see, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's really just sticking out. That was the verse that stuck out the most here lately. So I think that's it. So one more thing that I do want to add. I told you almost everything, but in the mornings, then I do have uh, I'll get a couple scoops of instant coffee, and I'll take 2 scoops of protein and put it in there as well with a little bit of milk. So, I mean, that's my coffee or protein shake for the morning, and I didn't quit doing that whenever I started this fast. If I was doing a water fast for a period of time, then I would abstain from that. But for the most part, I've been doing that every morning. And so that has been enough to sustain me until I get home to have like a little one of these or something like that. So I just wanted to add that in there. And that is probably most days about 60 grams of protein. Because I thought it was 30, but I had switched the measurement scoop just so that I could see it better because it was a different color. And I thought they were the same, but they weren't the exact same because I measured them on a scale later. So I wanted to be honest about that as well. So that's it. So day 36 of 40-day altered fast. Today I wrote on my hand Mark 9:29, and I wrote it on there this morning and then read it, and depending on translation, like New International Version says, Jesus replied, "This kind can come out only by prayer." Now, in the King James Version, it says, "And he said unto them, This kind can come forth by nothing but prayer and fasting." And different translations say different things, but my point with sharing this, this one's cool. The Amplified is, he replied to them, "This kind of unclean spirit cannot come out by anything but prayer to the Father." And, but the unclean spirit part really stuck out. And, I'll probably elaborate on that a little more later. But, the thing that I want to say is, if you look at this as an analogy of, like, let's say the fasting is the cutting away of the flesh, like an addict or so with withdrawals, we all have addictions that we're going through, and until we can properly pray and fast, then it's hard to get rid of those old habits. And so one thing that popped out to me was the speck in your own eye. So get rid of the speck in your own eye before you're able to properly see, to pluck it out of your brother's eye. I know I'm paraphrasing, but that right there kind of spoke volumes, because we need to be able to properly fast out, starve out the addictions, so that we can help others. And that's just the kind of correlation that I've been thinking of all day, and that's just what's been on my mind. I will say I have had silly food combinations just constantly hitting my mind. And I'm sharing that because I know it's natural to be hungry and man cannot live on bread alone. But I mean that from a perspective of me sharing that means all the more that I need to see this through. Because at first I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't because it's like my heart's not in it, this and that. My heart's in it, but my flesh is trying to take over. And so I think we could all say that food is very addictive, and too much of it is definitely not good for you. We need to starve out the gluttony and starve out our own, I deserve this for every single meal when it's causing us harm. I don't know. I'm just looking at this completely different. I'm looking at it from your body is the temple. But then, Solomon also talked about how he says good food and good wine, even though the wine was a little different back then. It wasn't the same level that it is now. But there's nothing wrong with it, is what I'm saying. You just can't let it completely consume you. And so I think that whatever your idol is or whatever your fleshly desire is, starve it out. Fast it out if you can, or just try to pray it out. Try to get rid of the thing that's weighing you down, the dead weight. Whatever that is in your life, just, get rid of it. So I think that's it, and I am looking forward to eating in 4 days.
All right, so day 37, 3 days left. Good morning, everybody. I'm pretty excited about this. I've noticed that I've started taking care of myself a lot more, working out more consistently, and just trying to take care of my body. But one thing that's been on my mind all morning is the freshman 15. So the freshman 15 is something that most college freshmen gain upwards close to 15 pounds. Goodness. Up to 15 pounds their freshman year. And how much of that is onset by the world and your change of pace lifestyle and just lack of dedication to the gym if you're normally an athlete, or lack of preparation for food. And I think we could all benefit from that if we just learn how to discipline ourselves. All it is discipline. I know that's easier said than done, but to get off your freshman 15, to get off that baby fat, to get off the to grow and go from crawling to walking, I think that fasting is vital. Jesus says when you fast. And so he's implying that you will fast. And so that just stuck out. I mean, you don't have to do it like days on end. If you can't do a water fast for some reason, then do it just for a period of time of, you could even just fast for half a day. I mean, I think whenever Saul passed and David just stopped and then fasted the rest of the day. It's especially reading in Samuel and Kings, but mainly in Samuel, then you'll see that David fasted a whole lot, and he fasted in different ways. It didn't say that he fasted for weeks at a time every single time. Sometimes it might have been a day, might have been the rest of the day. I mean, there's different variations, so you don't have to chalk it up to, well, I can't do 3 days. You can do a different number, whatever you feel comfortable about, and just pray about it. But that just symbolically, the freshman 15 stuck out to me because it's like an example of when we think we start growing up, but then we're adding all this extra baggage on ourselves, and sometimes it's in an unhealthy way, sometimes it's in a healthy way. But that example just kind of stuck out to me. And then another thing, yesterday I bumped into somebody, and I'd had their name wrote down, or their kid's name wrote down for a prayer request, and it was answered. They got a new job. And so I think that sometimes we don't see the little things happening, or just give a small praise report. That's a big one. But if I would have been so food hungry whenever I was shopping, then I wouldn't have seen the impact that it had in that person's life. So anyways, that's it. So day 37, 3 days left of altered fast, because it's not a true complete fast. I'm fasting for all the right reasons, but I'm still taking in a lot more nutrients than your traditional one. But went and visited a family member at the hospital, and I kept on, just feeling this urge to text this guy that I just met like a couple weeks ago, and
text him a Bible verse, and so I sent it to him. This guy did share with me an altar call and things like that, but I've only met him twice, and I texted it to him, and then I felt the need to go and witness to him, so I did. Was going on the phone with my buddy to give him an update over the family member, and then I was about to head home, and then halfway through heading home, my mind was so foggy, I knew I had to turn around, so I turned around and left, went to the opposite side of town where that guy was, and then witnessed to him for a minute, and he said thank you, and then whenever I'm leaving halfway, then I'm leaving him on the highway, and I hear turn around. So my way of witnessing to him was sharing. I felt like I needed to get a Bible for him, so I did. And I hate sharing this part because I'm not sharing it for that. I'm sharing it for the information inside of it, because I get more joy out of that than boasting it or sharing it in front of everybody, like, oh, look what I did. I hate that. That's not me, but it's pertinent to the story. And then getting choked up, but and then so I sent him a text and said, hey, I could get your buddy one later, but it's a different kind. And whenever I heard turn around, I realized I had one in the car. So I did turn around, stopped, parked, and told them I'm away. And it's the Filament one. The Filament one is, it's got the Filament app with it. And so that's what this one is. The other one's a little different, but I love these because it's got the NLT. It's got cool print. Just turn it around for you to see. But my point with that is, when God's telling you to turn around, just turn around. Because you really don't know what blessing you're missing out on. So, anyways, I just figured I'd share that. Day 38 of Altered Fast. But, so, Charlie Kirk has passed today, and a verse that came to mind is James 4, chapter 4, verse 14. How do you know what your life will be like tomorrow? Your life is like the morning fog. It is here a little while, then it's gone. So, the reason I'm sharing that is Charlie Kirk, for many, was a leader, and he reminds me of, Ezekiel 22:30 talks about standing in the gap, and that's what he's tried doing and done in his own way. And it's sad that things like this happen, but the big takeaway and thing that has occurred to me is, in Revelation, it also talks about there will be two witnesses, and I'm not going to read every verse of it or anything like that, but it talks about how whenever it talks about the power that they will be given, but then it also talks about later when they pass, how many people will be excited. If anyone who is excited about him passing, then you really need to check yourself and your heart posture. Like, no one should ever be excited about anyone dying, and that is the same spirit that will be in the last days. And that was weighing on me a lot and I didn't plan on posting anything, haven't in months, but that has just been on my mind, and we need to pray for people who have any inclination of no sympathy for things like that, and pray for our nation, and um, maybe it'll help lead us to a prayerful revival. And like always, don't follow me, follow Jesus. So, day 39 of altered fast. It is 4:49 right now, but I've been awake for a while, and I feel like I was led to share this. It's John 3, verse 21. And this sticks out to me. The verse before it sticks out to me too. So, John chapter 3, verses 20 and 21. For everyone who does evil hates the light and avoids it, so that his deeds may not be exposed. But anyone who lives by the truth comes from the light, so that his works may be shown to be completed by God. I thought that was very much with what's going on right now. So, I mean, sometimes we're led to wake up in the middle of the night and pray or read scripture, and that scripture kind of just made me think about everything going on right now. So, it's still real early in the morning. Day 39, got a full day left, 24 hours tomorrow, and of this altered fast. And this fasting that I'm thinking of now, I'm just seeing so much right now. I'm seeing like in Jonah, it talks about the king of Nineveh, and he speaks on just like he speaks on declaring a fast, a nationwide fast. Well, I mean, Trump has declared a nationwide prayer, and I think that this is a lot, but I just think that I think that there are times that we should just have a true fast. And what I mean by that is, if you're a firefighter, if you're a policeman, if you're somebody of that nature, don't feel like you have to do it. We can all fast in our own way. Like, there's the Daniel fast, where you're just eating vegetables, or similar to what I did with protein shakes and broth and a little bit of yogurt when I felt led. But I've been abstaining from things that I like steak and things like that. But more than that, and a lot of and any actual food. But my point in sharing this is, if you can't fast like a true fast, why don't you just fast away the things of this world that are literally holding down your walk? So when Daniel was fasting, he was fasting but still honoring his employer, like we all should. But it's hard to get out. So if the food's weighing you down and you can't fast from that, do something more like Lent and fast away all these silly TV shows that we're all obsessed with, and just get in the Word. Like, if everybody would cut away this world and start digging deeper into their true purpose, they wouldn't be hiding behind these shows or whatever their guilty pleasure is. Like, cut all that away. And that's really the message that I have. I really think that we should all begin to go towards something like that, especially in times like this. All right, guys. So this morning is day 40 of Altered Fast. Before I get into what I've been led to share this morning, I just want to say, if you feel like doing a fast and you feel like you're led to do one, then start out small. And if you're gonna do something super long term, always consult with a physician first. And sometimes I stutter through this stuff or whatever, but the reason I do that is so it's more natural. I hate everybody being fake online. So if I stutter or get my words flip-flopped, it's whatever. Moses stuttered too. But I think today, with everything going on in the world, I know people say that all the time, but I mean, like with the Charlie Kirk type of thing and 9/11 shortly after, I thought this verse was fitting. This is what I was led to in my quiet time this morning. Psalm 28, verse 9. Save your people, bless your possession, shepherd them, and carry them forever. Now, obviously, he's talking about Israel here, and it's David talking to God about that, so I want to get that part across. But, I mean, we're grafted into the vine, and so I just thought that was pretty neat. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. And I think I've learned a lot through this 40 days, and I also think that everybody should fast at some point. I mean, it doesn't matter if you just skip one meal. When you skip that one meal, for one, shopping's different. It's a lot cheaper. But when you skip that one meal, when you do anything like that, you're just being obedient. Small acts of obedience have big rewards. And sometimes we sit here and we always think the woe is me attitude when it could always be worse. I mean, look at Job, look at things of that nature. And so right now I don't have a ton of just recap. Oh yeah, I did actually lose 17.8 pounds. After a while, it started to fade away a little more because I was drinking those Ensures. Or for about a week, I was eating a cup of yogurt. And I might throw up one of my stats. I didn't measure every time, but I did have a good protein intake through the day. And the reason I was doing that and electrolytes is to still honor my employer. I talked about it in other episodes, but my point with that is my buddy had texted me and told me to be sure to honor my employer. And then that very day, towards the end of the day, there was a sermon on the radio. Now, granted, I was listening to the radio, but it wasn't anything that I was seeking out. It was on the station. But it was talking about honoring your employer, and that's one of your biggest ministries because that's where you spend the most time. And I thought that tied it up pretty well too. So, like always, don't follow me, follow Jesus.